fact, I was born 15 years after Prabhupada's departure. So whatever I'm going to speak is what I have heard from those who have seen Srila Prabhupada, what I have read, what I have heard from superiors. So it's like speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. I have not realized Srimad Bhagavatam either, but on the basis of what we hear from our superiors is what we repeat. One time I asked my Guru Maharaj that, Srila Guru Maharaj, I am speaking Krishna Katha, but I have not realized what I'm speaking. I said in Hindi that Anubhav nahi kiya hu, koi sakshatkari gyan nahi hai. So Srila Guru Maharaj said, so how do you speak? So I said, I read and I hear from superiors like yourself, and I repeat. And Srila Guru Maharaj said, continue doing this. Don't wait for purity to come, and then you will speak. This process of repeating from our superiors will bring in purity. This was his instruction. So just following the instructions of my superior, I'm somehow trying to offer some service, but conditioned souls make a lot of mistakes. This is for sure. We may become very proud, but we end up making so many mistakes. So I request all the devotees to please kindly accept the essence of what I'm trying to speak today. And please leave behind any drawback, any shortcoming, any mistake, anything which is not in line with Siddhanta, anything that is not in line with history. If I'm not presenting it properly, please kindly forgive me. I'm just a small child. I'm like your son. I'm like your younger brother. So please forgive me before even I attempt to start. Om Ajnanathimiranthasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarani Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So just a few weeks ago, we celebrated Vishwarup Mahotsava. Vishwarup Mahotsav is it marks on the Gaudiya Vaishnava calendar for us the sannyas ceremony of Srila Prabhupada from Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj many years ago in the Keshavji Gaudiya Math in Mathura. Also this week is the World Holy Name Week. Worldwide, ISKCON GBC has announced it as the World Holy Name Week. And this is named after Srila Prabhupada's arrival into the Western world. 17th of September, 1965, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada placed his holy lotus feet in this Western world. And along with Srila Prabhupada was the arrival of the 6 Goswamis, was the arrival of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was the arrival of the Nam Sankirtan movement, was the arrival of 108 temples, was the arrival of the explosive book distribution, was the arrival of preaching movement, was the distribution of prasadam and the establishment and the installations of deities. So in this way, Srila Prabhupada brought in good fortune by establishing ISKCON, by preaching the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today we are going to speak very briefly. It's going to be a fast-moving class. We'll speak very briefly about Srila Prabhupada taking sannyas. I will not be covering all the different items and different ingredients and different details about this pastime, because it's quite a detailed pastime. but different biographers of Srila Prabhupada, different disciples have mentioned this in their books. Mula Prakriti Mataji in her book, Srila Prabhupada, a friend to all, has also mentioned. And of course, the Prabhupada Leelamrita also talks about it. So many other biographies also mentioned briefly, and some describe in elaboration. So let us begin today's discussion, and then a few minutes at the end, we can stop for any reflections or questions or comments. Nija seva katara karanji vidhum vidutatita hinkruta simhavaram varanagata balisha sandapadam pranamami sada prabhupada padam. It has been described that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he's like the moon. Just like we see the dark sky at night gets completely illuminated by the presence of the full moon. And the full moon looks more beautiful in the presence of twinkling stars. So the dark sky of Kali Yuga was completely lit up by the glorious personality, by the glorious presence of Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. And this moon, Saraswati Thakur, Saraswati Pad, came with his own set of twinkling stars in the form of his disciples. So many of them so beautifully appear in this world, and they lit up the night sky of Kali Yuga with fortune by their personal sadhana, by their preaching, by their attempt to spread Krishna consciousness and elaborate and distribute the wonderful mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur would say that we have not come in this world to become construction workers. We have not come in this world to become engineers and all of these things. We are simply the shoe carriers of the Vaishnavas. Jnanavalambaka kechit, kechit karmavalambaka, vayam tu haridasana padatranavalambaka. This is a verse from Rupa Goswami, which Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada would paraphrase and mention that those who are on the path of karma, my obeisances to you. Those on the path of jnana, my obeisances to you. As far as we Bhakti Yogis, devotees are concerned, we are not depending on our activity. We are not depending on our cultivation of knowledge. We are not depending on our yogic mystic perfection. We are not depending on our meditation and contemplative deliberation. The only thing we depend on is the fortune of serving the Vaishnavas. We are simply the carriers of the shoe of pure Vaishnavas on our head. We have no other aspiration. Bhakta pada dhuli ar bhakta pada jal, bhakta bhukta avashesha tini mahabal. Chaitanya Charitamrita has mentioned that the three most powerful means of getting mercy in Kali Yuga is to take the dust from the feet of a Vaishnava, literally touching the feet of Vaishnava, touching our head to the feet of a Vaishnava, washing the lotus feet of a Vaishnava and drinking that water, and at the same time partaking in the remnants of their prasadam. The inner meaning of these three is Bhakta Pada Dhuli refers to their instructions. Bhakta Pada Jal refers to their Hari Katha, which is like a water coming from their lotus lips. Tasmin Mahan Mukharita Madhubhish Charitram, as described in the Bhagavatam. Also, remnants from their prasadam plate means remnants of their attachment to Krishna, their Bhav Ansha. Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha, that Avashesha coming from their heart, their mood of attachment to Krishna is what we want to take. Saraswati Thakur would say that we simply want to carry the order and the manobhishta of our superiors, our acharyas in our life. We don't desire and deserve anything else. So in this mood, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was a torch bearer. He was someone who was the flag bearer. And he came in this world carrying the mood of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahashay is the Saptam Goswami, is the seventh Goswami. What the six Goswamis of Vrindavan did in the land of Vrindavan, Rupa, Sanatan, Raghunath Bhatta, Raghunath Das, Gopal Bhatta, and Raghunath Das. So, Jai Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta, Raghunath, Sri Jeev, Gopal Bhatta, Das, Raghunath. That's an easier way to count them out in this. So the six Goswamis, they collectively, they worked so wonderfully, and they did 4 activities. Prabhu Ragyaya Sabha Shastrera Vichar, Brajer Niguda Bhakti Karila Prachar. Chaitanya Charitamrita has described that Prabhu Rajnyaya Sabha Shastrera Vichar. By the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they deliberated upon all the scriptures and Vrajera Niguda Bhakti Karila Prachar. And then they distributed it in the form of their preaching and their compilation of books. So the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, they re-established lost places in Vrindavan. They wrote books in Vrindavan. They established temples in Vrindavan, and they set by personal standards what is Vaishnava etiquette. What 6 Goswamis did together in the land of Vrindavan, one Goswami did single-handedly as a Grihastha in Navadvip. And that is our Saptam Goswami, Sachitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Mahasaya. He established lost places like the appearance place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Yoga Peeth. He built temples. He wrote so many books, so many songs. And by his practical personal example, he won the heart even of the British officials and the British government. He held a very high position as the superintendent of the Jagannath temple. And at the same time, he was the village magistrate, on behalf of the British government. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a very, very scholarly, very devotional, very compassionate Acharya. And carrying that current in this world was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had so many colorful contributions in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. But one unmatched contribution of Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the ability to pray and call in different associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this world for the benefit of mankind. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the 7th Goswami, but by his prayer, a ray of Vishnu came here as the son of the 7th Goswami, that is Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. He appeared like the moon. And this moon came with his own set of twinkling stars in the form of glorious, glorious, unparalleled, incomparable army of Saraswati Thakur in the form of his disciples. Whether it is Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, or whether it is Bhakti Dait Madhav Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Maharaj, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, Bhakti Vilas Tirtha Maharaj, any of the god brothers of Srila Prabhupada who were very favorable to Prabhupada and whom Prabhupada wrote letters to back and forth, and with whom Prabhupada had a very heart-to-heart relation. When he would meet them, he would speak in Bengali, and the whole world would come to a standstill. The whole Western world would come to a standstill, and Prabhupada would, slap his thigh and speak to his dear god brothers. In 1971, Prabhupada wrote a letter to Srila Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj, his god brother, that thank you for understanding me so nicely. You are a very dear god brother to me, like that. So these twinkling stars, these dear associates of our Prabhupada, they are also one of the most prominent contributions of Saraswati Thakur. He brought in the eternal associates. Bhaktivinoda Thakur brought Saraswati Thakur, and Saraswati Thakur came down with his own set of twinkling. Whole world. In fact, in the Chaitanya Mangal, it has been predicted that Prithivite Achajada Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachar Hoibe Moranam. This verse comes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and also in the Chaitanya Mangal. And Chaitanya Mangal also says something very interesting. Mora Senapati Bhakta Jaibe Tathai. Jadi Papi Dharma Chadi Dura Deshe Jai Mora Senapati Bhakta Jaibe Tathai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had predicted that when dharma will be lost and all the sinful people will run here and there, helter-skelter in all parts of the world, I will send in my commander-in-chief who will travel around the world and spread this message of Krishna consciousness and deliver the whole world. Srila Prabhupada appeared in 1896, the same year that Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote his book, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Life and Precepts. He wrote this book in English and published it and sent it to the McGill University in Canada. That same year, 1896, the year Bhaktivinoda Thakur sent the book for the first time across the ocean into the Western world. That same year, that representative who will take the message into the Western world appeared, 1896. It cannot be coincidence. This is the divine plan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought in Srila Prabhupada to carry on this mission, preaching mission, and all the instructions that were given by Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur as far as preaching to Abhay Babu is concerned, fructified in the worldwide Hare Krishna explosion that Srila Prabhupada started when he was in his old age. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has a lot of predictions made In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had made a prediction that very soon people from all around the world will come. In thousands and thousands of numbers, they will come dancing into Navadvip. They will be singing Jai Shachinandana Gaura Hari, Jai Shachinandana Gaura Hari. And at the same time, they will be busy doing Navadip Dham Parikrama. We see all of those predictions of Thakur Bhaktivinoda Mahasaya have been fulfilled by our beloved Srila Prabhupada. People from all around the world every year go for Gaur Mandal Parikrama and Braj Mandal Parikrama. So it's almost like Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the architect who planned the whole thing. And Saraswati Thakur preached in an unparalleled way. When our Prabhupada was asked that you built 108 temples, how do you feel about your preaching? And our Prabhupada, in a very, very humble mood, said, actually, my Guru Maharaj was a better preacher. And then Srila Prabhupada had a very beautiful reason why. He said, Srila Prabhupada said, I took about 7-8 years preparing in Radha Damodar. And then after that, it took me about 11 years. So it's about close to 20 years to build 108 temples. That was in the Western world. He said, my Guru Maharaj, he built 64 Gaudiya Maths in less than 10 years. From 1921 to 1932, he had already built 64 Gaudiya Maths. And he said, Prabhupada said, I failed in my preaching in India. I could not set up more than 3 centers. And I tried doing a bit of book distribution and magazine distribution, and whatever I tried failed. Nothing worked. Prabhupada said, I failed in India, and it took me 20 years of preparation for 108 centers. But my Guru Maharaj, in 10 years, less than 10 years, he built 64 temples in the place where I was not able to set up more than 3. And at the same time, I had the help of aircrafts and planes. But my Guru Maharaj did not have access to any of that. So my Guru Maharaj is actually a way better preacher and my superior lifetime after lifetime. So in this mood, Prabhupada was always seen himself to be lowest on the list. Even in the mood of Nityananda Prabhu, when Srila Prabhupada came to the Western world, he went straight to the Bowery region of New York City, where people were completely on the floor. People were addicted to drugs and sex and meat eating and intoxication and gambling. They had no way, no walk, no direction in life. And Srila Prabhupada went straight to them and lifted them from the street and included them in the Krishna consciousness preaching. It's interesting that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Nityananda Prabhu to Bengal to preach, Nityananda Prabhu went to the lowest strata of men. It is described that those men could be so bereft of values that they were ready to even sell the jewelry that their mother got on the day of her wedding just to get some money. They would do that. And Nityananda Prabhu would go them and intoxicate them and make them chant Hare Krishna. So in this way, our Prabhupada had this mood. He would go to the extent of Nitai's compassion. And from there, he created a worldwide revolution of the Hare Krishna movement. So it is not a coincidence. Sometimes people may think that, oh, it's all just a coincidence. Prabhupada happened to be doing the right thing at the right place with the right people. It was the growing of the hippie movement. So he just took advantage of it. But actually, that's not true. Sripad Vallabhacharya, in the pages of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antyalila, speaks to Sriman Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. And Vallabhacharya says, Krishna Shakti vina nahi tar pravartan. Kali Yuga Dharma ara naam sankirtan, Krishna Shakti vina nahi tar pravartan. Without the empowerment of Sri Hari, it's not possible to preach the message of Sri Hari, the names of Sri Hari. So Srila Prabhupada was certainly empowered, and he was the prediction. He was the fulfillment of the prediction of so many acharyas. Sripada Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, they are all predicted that there'll be a time when the devotees of Vishnu will be chanting and dancing with instruments. And it was inconceivable, unfathomable to see which generation would that be. But Prabhupada pulled that fortune into our generation, where we could see a worldwide revolution. When Prabhupada would speak after becoming Jagat Guru and setting up so many temples in this world, when Prabhupada came back to India, and he would have the Pandal programs. There used to be 20,000 people sitting and listening to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada would quote verses after verses after verses, the encyclopedia that he was. And this is how Prabhupada's preaching, even in India, with all of his wonderful, loving, surrendered disciples, it manifested. In the Padma Puran, it has been predicted by Bhakti Devi, who mentions to Narada Muni that idam sthanam parityajya videsham gamyate maya. In Padma Puran, in the land of Vrindavan, Bhakti Devi has a meeting with Narada Muni. And there Bhakti Devi speaks her future to Narada Muni. Bhakti Devi says, idam sthanam. Which sthanam? Vrindavan. Idam sthanam parityajya, giving up the land of Vrindavan very soon. Videsham gamyate maya. I will be carried overseas to the Western world. So the active voice is not used. Aham videsham gacchami. I am going to the Western world. No. Our Bhakti Devi says, videsham gamyate maya. I will be carried to the Western world, which means the focus is not just her travel, the focus is also on the medium who's going to carry her. So prediction of Srila Prabhupada runs straight into the pages of Padma Puran. And as early as even the predictions of the Alvars, thousands and thousands of years ago, at least 1,000, 2,000 years ago, and even before that. So many colloquial languages in different Indian languages. The prediction of Bhakti spreading far and wide in every town and major village of this world has come true by the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada appeared in 1896, and he appeared in a very beautiful devotional family to Gaur Mohande. And right from childhood, Srila Prabhupada was very, very absorbed in Krishna consciousness. As we know, as at the age of 5, Prabhupada built his very first ever Rath Yatra cart festival. And he went from door to door and invited everyone and told different Matajis that you should make kachoris, you should make kachoris, you should make kachoris. And Prabhupada was so fond of kachoris that they used to call him Kachori Nandu. Kachori Nandu because he appeared on the day of Nandotsav. We know 1st September 1896, on the day of Nandotsav, the day after Janmashtami, Srila Prabhupada appeared. So because he appeared on Nandotsav, he had a home nickname as Nandu. But because he loved kachoris, he was called Kachori Nandu. Little did they know that Prabhupada will teach the whole world how to make kachoris. Kachori Nandu. So at the age of 5, Prabhupada built his small Rath Yatra cart with his own friends and inviting all the Matajis and telling who should chamar and who should sing and who should dance. And it was a very beautiful festival that Prabhupada, early in his life, he showed his future plans. That in 1975, he's going to have a tumultuous Rath Yatra, Kirtan and Katha and procession in a place like San Francisco. And he would rename San Francisco to be New Jagannath Puri. This is how much love Prabhupada had for Jagannath. He would say that I would always keep looking at my wristwatch to see what was the time and what was the closest possible train going to Jagannath Puri that he could get on board. So at the age of 5, Prabhupada would take on to Kirtan and worship. He would wake up. It's in the pages of the Leelamrit Swarup Maharaj describes. Prabhupada mentions that he would wake up to the ringing of the bell of Gaur Mohande. And even as a child, Prabhupada would cross the street by holding his father's hand and go to the Radha Govinda temple in Calcutta. Even when he would fly kites with his sister, he would chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, praying to Krishna that my kite is flying lower than my sister's kite. Let it fly higher than my sister's kite. And then when he would pray like that, his kite would start flying higher. And then his sister would start calling out to Krishna. And Prabhupada said, in this way, I was always Krishna conscious. Prabhupada once told Hridayananda Maharaj, what I'm doing now, I've always been doing. Do you understand? There was never a time when I forgot Krishna. And he spoke that in so much humility that it went straight into the heart of the listeners in that room. There was not a tinge of pride. Prabhupada mentioned that this has been my life. When Prabhupada gave the editing work to one of his disciples and said, please kindly edit my language. So the line said, Sri Sri Radha Krishna. So the editors saw that there were 2 usages of the word Shri. So he canceled that out. And in the comment, he wrote repetition. So when this came to Prabhupada's attention, Prabhupada said, what is wrong with Sri Sri Radha Krishna? So the disciple said, just like we don't say about something, we don't repeat the word. So I thought this is a repetition to use the word twice, Sri Sri. Prabhupada said, you should edit me when I write in your language, but don't dare edit me when I'm writing in my language. Prabhupada said, Sri Sri means it stands for Radharani, Sri Radha, and Sri Krishna. So in this way, Prabhupada was always humble, honest, yet authoritative, because he's a self-realized, self-potent, empowered, sent down Acharya to deliver everyone. Later is described as Prabhupada grew up. He was part of the Scottish Church College. This was during the British movement. Prabhupada had the influence of the Gandhian independence thought, and he was involved in some political activism. And that was the time when Prabhupada became very doubtful of the sadhus who were following the Vedic path. Prabhupada would say, when I was young, there used to be many sadhus who would visit my home. And my father was such a gentleman that he never turned anyone down. So many of them were not so bona fide. And very few were bona fide. So I know what sadhus are like. So I don't have so much faith in them. My main mission is to inspire the youth. As I'm educated, I want to be involved and get freedom for India. This was the mood. 1921. Prabhupada is 25 years old. 1896 is his appearance here. 1921, we pull the calendar upward. We pull it forward. 1921, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada visits Calcutta. And one friend of Abhay Charan, Srila Prabhupada, says, let's go and meet this sadhu. Prabhupada says, I've seen so many, they're all like the same. Friend said, no, you please come, don't be reluctant. This sadhu is something else. He's a phenomena in himself, please come. And that was our Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. So Prabhupada with his friend went to hear from his future Gurudev, Saraswati Thakur. And when he heard from Saraswati Thakur, he was astonished, because Prabhupada had a tough time to understand Saraswati Thakur even when he spoke in Bengali. What to speak of he speaking English? Saraswati Thakur's use of Bengali language was so high class. His usage of English words were so high class that it's described that even British officials sometimes did not understand the usage of our Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. And then what to speak of the subject matter of divine ecstatic love and devotion and preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of compassion. So our Prabhupada sat there and he was astonished to see the effulgence and purity and the straightforward preaching, bold preaching of Saraswati Thakur, the use of his words, the content of his presentation. Really astonished, especially during the independence movement, to have someone speak like this on a spiritual matter. It was really astonishing. But Prabhupada put his hand up and said, I have a question. And he said, isn't it important that we first get liberated from this, or independent from the British rule? Let us fight for liberation, of freedom for the country. And then we can think about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Bhakti and all of these things. At that time, Saraswati Thakur, he gave a very beautiful example. Gave a very, very beautiful example. He quotes it straight from the interaction between Yudhishthir Maharaj and Yamaraj, who came in disguise as a crane. And in that discussion, the crane asks Yudhishthir Maharaj, what is the news? And Yudhishthir Maharaj says, it's the same news. What's new? You know, there's a frying pan of Maya, and there's a ladle, there's a spoon being moved, and days and weeks and months and years are being passed as there's movement of the ladle or the spoon in the frying pan of Maya. The temperature of heat of distress is high, and all the living beings are being cooked in that frying pan. This has been the news 1,000 years ago. This is the news right now. And this will be the news 1,000 years into the future. And this example was quoted by Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur to our Srila Prabhupada and mentioned that when living beings are being cooked in the frying pan of Maya with the spoon of calendar, time factor, days and weeks and months and years are passing as living beings are being roasted one lifetime after another, and they're trying to toss over one after another, and Maya's frying pan is very big. difficult to escape. Saraswati Thakur asked Prabhupada, one way to go is, because the living being is having a lot of difficulty there and the heat is so high, you lift up the living being and put him on the other side. So he's not being burnt here, but he's burnt here. Is that a good proposal? Or is it better to put your hand in and lift people out, the living beings out of the frying pan? Prabhupada mentioned it's always best to lift them out of the frying pan. Saraswati Thakur said, yes, this is the difference between the national independence and the universal independence path that I'm teaching. Governments may change today, but the frying pan still remains the same. We may overturn the British government, and we can establish our own Swarajya, independence. That's like switching over the other side, and we're still in the frying pan of Maya. But what I am trying is to put the hand in and pull living beings out once and for all. Why just think of a small portion on the world map, just liberation of India, just independence of India? Why not think of liberation of the whole world from the clutches of material existence? And this was really, really striking into the heart of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was convinced that true compassion lies in not just overthrowing the British, but it was actually in escaping Maya Shakti and helping others cross over the ocean of material existence. So in this context, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur proved to our Prabhupada and instructed him, gave him the instruction in 1921 to take up the preaching mission. And Prabhupada, being very impressed and inspired, he surrendered 100% to Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur in 1921. After that, Prabhupada still had his family and business was still going on. So it took him 11 years of meeting and interaction and service. And then in 1932, when Prabhupada was about 36 years old, he took Diksha in Prayag from Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur left on the 1st of January 1937. He was sick for quite some time in 1936, and then 1937, 1st January, Srila Saraswati Pad left this world. So 4 years before that, Prabhupada took Diksha. Our A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada took Diksha in Prayag and was given the name Abhay Charanaravinda Das Adhikari. Gaur Mohan De Prabhu, the father of Prabhupada, had named him Abhay Charan. But our Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur added the name Aravinda. So the name became Abhay Charanaravinda Das Adhikari. And then from time to time, Prabhupada heard from Saraswati Thakur. And as the Gaudiya Math spread, it became 64 in number. And it's so interesting that our Saraswati Thakur told our Prabhupada that this is in Radhakund, that very soon I will leave and there will be a very great fire of commotion. If you ever get money, print books, sell the walls of the temple and print books. But what was the fire of commotion? The fire of commotion was generally what happens after there's a departure of a Mahabhagavat Vaishnava. We see that whenever there is a departure of a great soul who's been like the captain on the ship, who's been like the spiritual master, there's some confusion and misunderstanding and commotion, and it always happens from one generation to another when a great soul leaves. So Saraswati Thakur said that instead of having any confusion, the best thing to do is, if you ever get money, print books. So Prabhupada heard all these simple things, simple instructions that Saraswati Thakur gave, and they became his guiding principle, his motto, his mission statement in life. One was, you're educated in English language, you're a young individual. Don't just think about liberating one tract of land on the world map. Spread the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Give the whole world a chance of performing bhakti. Second thing was, if you ever get money, print books. These were the simple instructions that Prabhupada took to heart, and he came to the Western world to preach. And when he got money, he printed more and more books, and the book distribution campaign multiplied like never before. And Prabhupada said, if you ever want to please me, distribute my books, which means the physical copy through book distribution and the content of the book in the form of Hari Katha, in the form of constant preaching and the constant sermons and discourses on the glories of Sri Hari. Prabhupada, in his own words, mentions that he received great inspiration from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text 41. especially the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Krishna says, Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahu shakhayanantascha budhayo vyavasayina. That those who are resolute in purpose have one aim, but for those who are irresolute, they're multi-branched, they go in all directions. To which in the commentary, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that being resolute in purpose means to fulfill the instructions of the spiritual master. So this was like a guiding principle Prabhupada mentions, that when I read the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to this verse of the Bhagavad Gita, it reinforced in me the spirit that I must take this mission of my Guru Maharaj and prepare and have a lifetime in preparation to use it as a launching pad into the Western world. And how am I going to do it? I don't know, but I must do it. So in this way, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that the potent ingredient in success to being resolute is being completely surrendered in fulfilling the words of the spiritual master and being one-pointed in that. This was the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And Prabhupada will constantly remember these words, and the words that if you ever get money, print books, and the words that you're a young man, you're educated in English, go to the Western world and spread the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these things were reverberating and resonating and echoing in the heart of Srila Prabhupada all the time. Prabhupada would keep remembering them, the instructions of Guru and how to fulfill them, how to please Sri Guru. This is Guru Seva. This is Vani Seva. We should keep remembering as the guiding principle in life. 1937, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur wraps up his pastime, goes back home, back to Godhead. And then it is described in 1941. Srila Prabhupada, along with Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj and Narsimananda Brahmachari, they signed together the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti. They were co-founders. Our Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who was Abhay Charan Aravinda Das Adhikari at that time, with Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, who's going to become very soon Prabhupada's Sannyas Guru in about 15 years from now. It's 1941, so Prabhupada's 45 years old. So Prabhupada, Abhay Babu, with Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj and Narsimananda Brahmachari, all three of them, they signed the papers and they find the Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti together. Prabhupada was in his household life at that time, and he also had become the editor of the Gaudiya Patrika, where he edited articles, he even wrote articles. He was considered to be such a great scholar, such an unparalleled encyclopedia, especially in the Bhagavad Gita, that the title Bhakti Vedanta used to be given only to sannyasis. But our Prabhupada was such an exemplary exception to the rule that he was given the title Bhakti Vedanta while being in his household life. So he received the name Abhay Charan from his father, Abhay Charan Aravinda Das Adhikari from his Gurudev, and he received the title Bhakti Vedanta from the Vaishnav Samaj. So in this way, Prabhupada continued his family life. But Prabhupada would always keep thinking. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna mentions, Yasyaham anugrahnami harishyetad dhanam shanai, that when I shower my mercy on someone, the first thing that I do is I take away harishyetad dhanam shanai. I will slowly take away their wealth. Dhanam cha manam cha yathendriyani pranan sharetva mama sarvameva. Bilva Mangal Thakur in Chaurashtakam, he mentions, Akinchani kritya padashritam ya kairoti bhikshum pathike hahinam kenapyaho bhishana chauraidre drishta shruto va na jagatrayepi. In the 3 worlds, I have not seen a thief bigger than Krishna, says Bilva Mangala Thakur. Why? Dhanam cha manam cha thatendriyani pranam cha ritva mama sarvameva. He has stolen away everything, right from my time to my intelligence, to my buddhi, my mind, my voice, my senses. He grabs my eyes for his darshan and my ears for his flute sound. And in this way, akinchani kritya padashritam, he has made me a homeless beggar. Karotu bhikshum, beggar, pathi geha hinam, without a home and without any path. So Prabhupada, when he read this from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he was thinking, it's so difficult. I want Krishna's mercy, but Krishna comes not by giving, but by taking away. Krishna takes away. And when we still continue to serve him, when things very near to us are taken away, Devanam api durlabham, then what is even rare for the demigods to attain is what Krishna gives to the devotee. That is, he gives his own personal association. So Prabhupada hardly had any money to maintain his family at that time, because repeatedly he maintained his family business, but the business failed miserably. And repeatedly he was not able to maintain his family at that time. So Prabhupada was thinking that I think Krishna is showering his mercy. So I'm losing all my money and my business is failing. Prabhupada started so many different endeavors to maintain his family, but none of that worked. And then it is described, the famous incident where one day the wife did not have tea at home and she did not have money to get the tea. So she just saw a set of Srimad Bhagavatam of Srila Prabhupada. So she just took it and said, this is not needed. So I may as well sell it in the market, get some money so that I can buy some tea. So when Prabhupada got to know about this, he did not like. He really did not like. And he remembered at that time, Prabhupada, remember, he came back and he was unhappy to see that his Srimad Bhagavatam has been sold and given out without his approval, just to get some money to buy some tea at home. So he was not very happy with his wife at that time. It is described that when Prabhupada was about to get married, he had two options. One wife was very beautiful and very qualified, and the other was not quite. So Prabhupada wanted to marry the first one. But Prabhupada's father, Gaur Mohan Prabhu, mentioned to Prabhupada, no, you should marry the second one. Why? Because the purpose of Grihastha life is to get in so that one day you get out. You have pronunciation. In Hindi, we say, Grihasti mool hai, virakti phool hai. The purpose of the seed is to get the fruit or the flower. The seed is Grihastha life. Those who are brahmacharis and sannyasis, they're already renounced. They are walking in a one-pointed, surrendered, selfless manner to serve Krishna. But those who are grihasthas, they are getting their path is like the seed. But ultimately, the purpose of nourishing the seed is to get the flower someday. So grihasti mool hai. Grihastha life is the root, and virakti phool hai, and renunciation from that is the flower. So Gaur Mohan Prabhu said that you get to the second option because if you're not so comfortable here, it's easy to get out. It may be difficult to get in, but it's easy to get out. And that's the purpose of life ultimately. You get into a college so that one day you get out of the college. Yeah, you graduate and you get out. So Prabhupada at that time thought, he thought of this example and he remembered his father, imagining that, yes, my father said, it's easier to leave when it's difficult to get in. So he thought to himself, my father was a pure devotee. Prabhupada came to his wife and said the famous immortal question, tea or me? When there is no Srimad Bhagavatam, that means you're trying to say, no me. You're ready to give me out to get the tea in. Which one would you prefer? And the wife said, I will happily take the tea. So Prabhupada heard that and he was heartbroken. So he left home. He came to Mathura with nothing in his hand. He hardly had a small suitcase of cloth. And for those who have come to Mathura, there is a Bengali ghat. It's one of the 24 main ghats in Mathura and on the banks of the Yamuna. So there Prabhupada was living in a dharamshala in the Bengali ghat. He had nothing with him. His family had abandoned him. He lost his business. He lost his money. And Krishna was now really showering mercy and asking Srila Prabhupada to take that step, to jump over that step of family life so that Prabhupada can make the whole world his family. So when Prabhupada came there and he was sitting at the Bengali ghat, he was dejected and disappointed. At that time, one of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj's dear disciples, he came there and he saw, oh, this is the beloved god brother of my Gurudev. Because Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj and our Prabhupada are very close. So one disciple of Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, he came there and he said, oh, this is Abhay Babu. This is the god brother of my Gurudev. I know him. What is he doing here? It was about 1957 in the calendar. So Prabhupada, 61 years old. So I know him from 1946. A very respectable god brother of my Guru Maharaj. So what is he doing here? And why is he sitting at the Bengali Ghat? Completely all alone, lonely. So he asked him, what are you doing here? You're the worshipable god brother of my Guru Maharaj. You're Abhay Babu, you're scholarly, you're Bhakti Vedanta in the Vaishnav Samaj. You're so respected. You're the encyclopedia of the Bhagavad Gita and all Shastric knowledge. So why are you sitting here? So our Prabhupada said, no, actually I left home. And he mentioned to him all that happened. He said, I left home. Maybe this is the decision of my Guru Maharaj, and this is the plan of my father and Sri Krishna. All three of them are working. And I'm now in this Dharamshala, very close by. I just have one bag with me here, and I'm living there. So this disciple of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, he held the bag with one hand and held the hand of our Prabhupada with the other and said, you don't stay there. You please come and stay with us at the Keshavji Gaudiya Math. You please live with your God family. Don't live at the Dharamshala. Come, don't live alone. Come and live with us. Live with the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Live with your God brothers and your God family. And Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj was not in the mutt at that time. But soon after Prabhupada came there, in a day or two, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, who was the Acharya there at the Keshavji Gaudiya Math, he came from Bengal to Mathura, and he saw Abhay Babu sitting in the mutt. And at that time, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj spoke to Abhay Babu what his thoughts were and what his desires in life were. And Prabhupada was very dejected that he left his home, he left his family, and his business failed, and he had no money, and he had the instruction of his Guru Maharaj to print books by getting money, by preaching the mission of Prabhupada in the Western world. He's thinking, I'm already 61. I don't know how all of this is going to work out. At that time, by the divine plan of Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, this disciple of Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, who got Prabhupada in, he proposed to Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, please give Abhay Babu sannyas. And Prabhupada was not in the frame of mind to take sannyas. So that time there was another devotee by the name Sanatan Prabhu. And Sanatan Prabhu was very old. He was about 95 plus, 97 years old. He was very old and retired and vanaprastha. Who wouldn't take sannyas? One of those examples many times we may have seen of old sadhus who are not sannyasis, they are vanaprasthis and very old and retired. So Sanatan Prabhu was like that. So our Prabhupada said that, you want me to take sannyas? I am not ready. Then Prabhupada, in a joking way, said, if Sanatan Prabhu takes sannyas, I will take sannyas with him. Because Prabhupada was sure that Sanatan Prabhu will not take sannyas. If he takes sannyas, I will take sannyas. Sanatan Prabhu immediately got up from the chair and said, I am ready to take sannyas tomorrow. And Prabhupada, he remembered this verse, Yasyaham Anukritnami. He remembered the instruction of Saraswati Thakur. He remembered all the happenings in his life and the words of the disciple of Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj to take sannyas, and Sanatan Prabhu to say, yes, I'm ready to take sannyas. So Prabhupada put all of this together and he said, yes, I agree. He would always get repeated dreams of Saraswati Thakur instructing him to take sannyas, take sannyas, take sannyas. So on the day of Vishwarup Mahotsav, which is actually the day when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu realized that his brother Vishwarup had left this world in Pandharpur, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he shaved up that day, remembering his brother's departure. So Prabhupada decided, yes, Vishwarup Mahotsav should be the day. The day when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shaved up, that should be the day when he should also shave up and take sannyas. So there was a fire sacrifice performed, and Prabhupada's sannyas danda was tied up and 4 strips of cloth were given and names were given. And Sanatan Prabhu, who was over 90 years old, was given the name Bhakti Vedanta Muni Maharaj. And our Prabhupada was given the name Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj. Bhakti Vedanta Swami, this was the name. So Bhakti Vedanta was the title. The sannyas name was Swami. According to the Ananta Samhita, there are 108 sannyas names, and Swami is one of them. It's a sannyas name. So Prabhupada carried all the names till then. He carried his name given by his father, by his Gurudev, by the Vaishnav community, and by Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. So therefore, he would always sign as A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami. So that A.C. comes from Abhay Charanaravinda, that has Abhay Charan given by the father, that has Abhay Charanaravinda given by his Gurudev, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav, Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur. Then Bhakti Vedanta given by the Vaishnav community, and Swami given by Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. So you may see in Prabhupada's sannyas room in Radha Damodar, in Prabhupada's room in Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, there's a picture of Prabhupada's sannyas event. And there are three personalities. One is sitting on the chair and two are standing. So the one sitting there is the sannyas guru of Prabhupada and senior god brother, Srila Keshav Maharaj. And the two personalities standing, you see an old individual with a sannyas danda, that is Sanatan Prabhu, renamed as Muni Maharaj. And the other one is our Prabhupada, freshly posing for the picture after, after the sannyas ceremony, with a picture, with a danda in his hand. So that was Prabhupada taking sannyas. When shortly after Prabhupada's taking sannyas, it is described when Prabhupada and Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, they were sitting and honoring prasadam. There was a boy who was coming and serving both of them, saying, how many rotis will you eat? And how many rotis will you eat? And in this mode, he was serving. And when there was nobody, after the boy left and the others also left, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj looked at our Prabhupada and said that this boy, what he's seeing is that two old people are sitting and chewing rotis. That's what he's seeing. But he does not know that the future of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Nam Sankirtan movement rests in these four hands. So better we take the rotis and empower ourselves. And they chuckle like that. When Prabhupada lived in the Mathura Keshavji Gaudiya Math after sannyas, he would always keep candy in his pocket. And any child would come into the mat, Prabhupada would give candy. Why? Because if you give a child a candy, then the child will come again the next day. And when he keeps going to a certain place every day, parents will become curious about that place. So Prabhupada, by simple gestures like giving candy and toffees to children, he would attract so many people to come to the mutt, and Prabhupada would preach to them. When Prabhupada was living at the Keshavji Gaudiya Math, he wrote a book in English, which was never done before. In the Gaudiya Parampara, for someone to write a book, it was rare. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had done it in English, but in the generation after the independence movement, Prabhupada is now the first one to write a book in English in the Gaudiya Parampara. And that too, it was very interesting what topic Prabhupada wrote a book on. The US and Russia both were fighting to put a man on moon at that time. And news channels were flashing and broadcasting, and so much money was being sent. And at that time, Prabhupada wrote a book called Easy Journey to Other Planets. This was another attempt to capture the mood of what was happening during that time. Everyone was talking about stepping on the moon and interspace travel and things like that, celestial traveling. So Prabhupada wrote a book called Easy Journey to Other Planets. So it was written in the Keshavji Gaudiya Math under that time span when the moon landing was taking place. So in this way, there Prabhupada very clearly writes that without having a fit body, you cannot get into the moon. And whatever body you get is on the basis of your good and bad activities. But ultimately, whatever type of material temporary body we take, we have to come back. But if we perform bhakti, yadgatva na nivartante tadhamam paramam mama, we will go back home, back to Godhead, and never return. So in this way, Srila Prabhupada took sannyas and he prepared himself. Then after that, you see pastimes of Prabhupada spending enough time at the Radha Damodar temple, where he rented 2 rooms and he did bhajan, living there. It was not like now. Now Radha Damodar is like a tirtha. Everyone goes there because Prabhupada used to stay there, and it's very well maintained now. Because with time, devotees are also very magnanimous. They have offered a lot of donation in the renovation of Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, the Parikrama Marg, everything in the maintenance of Prabhupada's room, etc. But at that time, when Prabhupada moved into Radha Damodar, he rented 2 rooms, and it was a muddy place, no proper floor, all broken, very austere. But at the same time, Prabhupada wanted his room in such a way that from the kitchen, if he opens the door, the window, he can see Rupa Goswami's samadhi. So there also, Prabhupada was so conscious. One individual devotee, he writes his reflection that when he was cleaning Prabhupada's room, he caught a spider, and Prabhupada chastised him for that. And Prabhupada said that, why are you doing this? He said, Prabhupada, the spider will bite you. Prabhupada said, do you realize that this spider has been living here in the courtyard of Radha Damodar in Vrindavan way before I came here? He's a Brajbasi. Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami in Vraja Vilas Thava says, Yat kinchit trinagulmaki katamukham goshte samastam hitat sarvanandamayam mukunda daitam leelanukulam param. That everything in Vrindavan is actually favorably working in the mood of serving Radha and Krishna. So Prabhupada was very conscious, and he was very, very austere, hardly eating anything and doing bhajan and writing his Bhaktivedanta purports, living in Radha Damodar. There in the evenings, Prabhupada would lecture in English to the Brajvasis, and no one understood why in front of Bengali and Hindi speaking Brajvasis, where Prabhupada spoke Bengali and Hindi, he would speak in English. But after Prabhupada established ISKCON, everyone understood, oh, Prabhupada was practicing here in the courtyard of Radha Damodar to do it in the Western world. So there, all day and night, he did sadhana. And at night, it's described that Prabhupada would cry, sweeping the floor, crying for the empowered mercy of Rupa and Sanatana at the samadhi of Rupa Goswami. And he said, I can't do anything. My name is Bhakti Vedanta, but Bhakti nahi, Veda nahi. I don't have any knowledge and I don't have any devotion. Please, nama ebe sarthaka koro. You please make this name meaningful. You empower me. I cannot do anything. I am dancing in my mid-60s. Now, this is about 1961, 62, 63, 64. That is the time frame. And Prabhupada is seriously thinking, my life is coming to an end. I have to do something. So that bubble of Guru Nishtha is exploding. And that preparation was seen at Radha Damodar. So Prabhupada took sannyas. Prabhupada left his family so that he can embrace all of us. And he can give us at the feet of our family, Radha and Krishna. So just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he left his family so that he can give Krishna consciousness and spread Prema Bhakti to the whole world. Srila Prabhupada followed those footsteps. And Prabhupada took sannyas, left his family of children to make the whole world as his home, to make all his disciples as his children and his family, who in turn are preaching to us, connecting Prabhupada's mercy to us, so that we in this human form of life can find our eternal family, the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. If Prabhupada wouldn't have taken sannyas, we wouldn't be sitting here and speaking about his sannyas leela today. Thank you, Prabhupada, for taking such a brave, unbelievable, inconceivable step to step out of family life in his ripe old age with so much anxiety, with so much sincerity, going against all odds, seeing so many obstacles, so many troubles, so many reversals, typewriter being stolen, money being stolen. One boy in a drunk state coming with a kitchen knife in the middle of the night to stab Prabhupada in America. And Prabhupada surviving through all of this, tolerating, running in the middle of the night for a room, shelter, that this boy is coming to kill me. Please save me. This kind of torture is what Prabhupada went through, only so that we can sit in an AC room with lights and fan and good kurta and nice temples and nice deities and nice prasadam and nice books. And we are the next generation. So we should all step up, understand the good fortune that we have received, that during a global lockdown, when people are getting mad, they don't know what to do and what to talk and how much to talk and whom to socialize with. Prabhupada has given us an explosion on the Zoom where devotees are speaking Harikatha. There is Kirtan Mela going on, World Holy Name Week going on. Different cities from different countries are joining in together. Although we are socially disconnected, physically disconnected, socially there's distancing, but virtually we're all connected. And the consciousness of that connection is Krishna consciousness. the spiritual plane where Prabhupada has taught us how to stay high forever. Hare Krishna. And thank you very much, everyone from ISKCON Baltimore for kindly joining in today. And special gratitude to all the other devotees from other parts of the country and other parts of the world. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo.
Thank you so much, Amarendra Prabhu. That was a really, really good class, especially when you were talking about this funny example of Prabhupada giving candies to kids. Srila Prabhupada, when he came to the West, he followed kind of the same trick to attract the Westerners too by giving them gulab jamuns. So it was really nice to hear that. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your class. And do you have some time for some questions or comments?
Sure, Prabhu. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I'll unmute. I'll give permission for everyone to unmute themselves. If they have questions, you can please go ahead.
Oh, our beloved superior Bhadra Prabhu is here.
Danwad.
I am so embarrassed to speak in your presence.
No. It's not like that. You have heard that there was a prediction of golden age and Srila Prabhupada from Brahma Purana?
Yes.
You have it, right?
10,000 years, yes.
Yeah, because it is mentioned in there about Srila Prabhupada exact years of 1896 he will appear. And that's Krishna was talking to Brother Ganges in that prediction, and he's mentioning about that. So I thought, let me mention that. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol.
So I like that someone said to Prabhupada that this spider will bite you. So Prabhupada then said that this spider live in the Radha Damodar temple courtyard. So that I like, and I also like that he lives in the Radha temple before me.
Yes. Although you're speaking of the spider, your speaking is like that of a cuckoo bird. Very sweet.
Cuckoo bird.
Thank you for very sweetly sharing what you heard very attentively. This is the glory of our movement. Even children and male, female, even senior citizens, everyone can participate. So thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much.
I'm Tulsi.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Seems like somebody is speaking, but I can't hear.
Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is Kush from Cincinnati, Prabhu. So,
Prabhuji, one question I have: what is the first book and what is the last book written by Prabhupada?
So, first book that Prabhupada wrote is Easy Journey to Other Planets after taking sannyas, because before that Prabhupada had written articles and Back to Godhead magazines and periodicals and journals also. But as far as post-sannyas is concerned, Easy Journey to Other Planets. And of course, towards the end, Prabhupada was giving us the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. Even on the departure bed, we can see Prabhupada was giving his purports to Brahma Stuti, Brahma Vimohan Leela of the 10th canto. So that was the conclusion of Prabhupada's activity. So coming back to Kush Prabhu from Cincinnati, sorry for...
yeah. That's okay, Prabhu. So Prabhu, Dandvat Pranam, very nice class from you, Prabhu. So Prabhu, you did, briefly explain like how his name was Abhay Charana, then Abhay Charana, Arvindam, Bhakti Vedanta, then Swami. So Srila Prabhupada, we say Srila Prabhupada, is this a post or was it a name given by somebody?
Very beautiful. So actually, Prabhu means the Supreme Lord. So Prabhu, pra means prakrishta rupena and bhu bhavati means to exist. So pra means in a very special way and bhu refers to existence. So those who exist in a very special way, which means those who are very exalted and advanced in comparison to Jana Samanya, They are called as Prabhu. Ultimately, the word Prabhu refers to the Supreme Lord. But in general, the word Prabhu is given to acharyas or great souls. And Pada means feet. So that great personality at whose lotus feet even great acharyas can sit and learn. So it is a upadhi. It is an upadhi. It is a designation. So Shri Pad, Prabhupad, Acharya Pad, these are all titles given to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his representatives, great acharyas and the followers. So in fact, it is described very beautifully. The history has been mentioned that Prabhupada used to be called as Swamiji. Swamiji. He was not called Prabhupada. He used to be called Swamiji. So one time Prabhupada was saying that this title G is very low class. Say G, like that. So disciples immediately caught. He said, but if that is low class, why are we calling you Swamiji? Why are we calling you Swamiji? Because if that is low class. Prabhupada said, no problem. You're very sincere. I have no problem. They said, no, we want to know what is the first class address. What is the best thing that we can call you? And Prabhupada said, you can call me Guru Dev, or you can call me Guru Maharaj, or you can call me Prabhupada. So they said, no, Prabhupada, no, Swamiji, don't give us three options. Tell us what is the best that we can call you. And our Swami Maharaj said, oh, yes, you can call me Prabhupada. So sometimes people, may think that, oh, actually, Prabhupada is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And why did Prabhupada take the title of his Guru Maharaj? But it's actually very interesting, the mood in which Prabhupada took. It's not about equating himself to his spiritual master, but Prabhupada's mood was, and Prabhupada mentions this, that when I would be mentioned and appreciated and glorified by my disciples as Guru Maharaj, oh, I know that they're calling to me in affection. But when they say Jai Prabhupada, even I can join in and say Jai Prabhupada because that's the title of my Guru Maharaj. So even in Prabhupada accepting the title Prabhupada, it is an expression of his humility and surrender. So this is the title and this is the history how A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Swamiji, was called as Prabhupada. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Very nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, this is
Hare
Ajay
Krishna,
Govinda Prabhu
Prabhuji.
first. Ajay Govinda Prabhu first, and then we can take later. Ajay Govinda Prabhu, please continue.
So, Prabhuji, the incident of Srila Prabhupada taking sannyas is related to when he saw his wife has, disposed of the Bhagavatam for the tea. So somehow it looks like, externally to someone, maybe probably, or maybe I want to understand that, that he renounced, his family out of being unhappy. Like in Bhagavad Gita 18:8, Krishna says, "Dukkham iti eva yat karma, kaya kalesha bhayajyate." So how do we understand that, this incident which Srila Prabhupada took, although it was a plan and, he has to take, but externally, if we see, kind of like looks like he was unhappy from his wife incident, and then he took renunciation. So how do we understand that? If you can throw a little light on that.
So let me see if I understood your question right. So is the question this, that we understand Prabhupada is a self-realized acharya, and that he taking sannyas is actually an expression of his devotion to his guru and compassion for others. But externally, it seems that he took sannyas out of disgust in family life. Is this the question? So this is very interesting to note that an acharya plays both roles, Prabhuji. Just like Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna plays two kinds of roles. He plays the role of Mukta and he plays the role of Sarvajnaha. Sarvajnaha means where Krishna plays the role of the all-knowing Supreme Lord. And Mukta means where he plays the role of the cowherd boy in Vrindavan. So like, for example, when Krishna is dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, he's slamming Kaliya and almost breaking his hoods with the dancing of his lotus feet. That is Sarvajnaha. He's acting as the all-knowing Supreme Lord. But when he comes out, he's shivering because he has spent so much time in the waters of the Yamuna. That is his Mukta feature. So the Lord who shows the universe in his mouth is the Sarvajnaha. But the Lord who sits and secretly eats mud is the Mukta. The Lord who swallows the forest fire in his mouth is the Sarvajnaha feature as Bhagavan. But the Lord who's getting scared of thunderbolts and hiding behind Mother Yashoda's sari and saying, oh Maya, please protect me. Please put me to sleep and tell me some bedtime stories. That is the Mugdha feature. So the Supreme Lord goes back and forth between these two features of Sarvajnaha, the all-knowing Supreme Lord, and Mugdha, where he's the play toy in the hands of the devotees. So similarly, the Acharyas also switch back and forth between Siddha Avastha and Sadhak Avastha. So the Acharya is a Siddha, Mahapurusha. So he will establish 108 temples by the snap of his fingers. That is his complete Siddha manifestation. But so that we can relate with him, he may appear to go through the motions and emotions of worldly life. That is the Sadhaka Avastha, although he's not the Sadhaka. Just like Krishna is not just Mugdha. He's not just a cowherd boy. He is the Supreme Lord who's playing the role of a cowherd boy. Similarly, the Acharya also goes between Sadhaka and Siddha, Sadhaka and Siddha, Sadhaka and Siddha. He's completely perfect, yet at the same time, he will keep his hand on his head. And when Giriraj Maharaj asks him, what happened, Prabhupada? He will say, this Radha Rasbihari project in Juhu, ISKCON, Mumbai, is giving me a headache. So how can it give a headache to the self-realized soul? Well, it is not, but because he's going through the motions of Naravat Leela, human-like pastimes, he's taking on those emotions so that we can relate with him. If it is only headache and only human interaction, then what is so special? And if it is only Siddha Avastha manifestation, then how can we relate with him? So with the head, we surrender to the Sarvajna feature. But with the heart, we melt, seeing the Mugdha manifestation. So in this way, the Acharya plays both roles.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very, very wonderful and beautiful explanation. Thank you so much.
Hare
To the
Krishna.
point and crisp. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So we will. So if more of questions are there, you can please raise your hand so that it doesn't interrupt other devotees who are asking questions. So if anyone has any further questions, you can please raise your hands. We'll unmute you.
Hare Krishna. Could you please tell us daily routine of Srila Prabhupada?
Daily routine of Srila Prabhupada.
I came to know that by books 1 to 4 he used to write books. Then when he'll get rest?
So Srila Prabhupada does not need as much rest as you and I. Prabhupada is like Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Prabhupada used to rest for about 3 hours at night. And then during the daytime, after the meal, Prabhupada would rest for half an hour or so. But he was always fresh. Like Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami rested only for 2 hours a day. So when we get more spiritually advanced, Nidra Hara Vihara Kadi Vijitau Chatyanta Jnau Chayo. Srinivas Acharya has written in the Shat Goswami Ashtakam that the more spiritually advanced we get, our eating and our sleeping will reduce naturally. When we are in the mode of Tamogun, we sleep more. But when we are in the Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudaiva Shabdhitam, then we sleep very less. So you can refer to the transcendental diary of Harisuri Prabhu, Harishauri Prabhu, which talks about the different scheduling of Prabhupada. It would change from place to place as he's traveling, but some things would be same. The time that he would have his morning breakfast and the morning walks, those things would be the same. But then interacting philosophers and politicians and giving classes, that would change according to the time zone. But Prabhupada was always in sync. Wherever he went, jet lag never acted on him. He was always in sync, according to Hari Shauri Prabhu, who was the personal servant of Prabhupada. So he writes about all of this in his transcendental diary.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Yes,
Am I
please.
audible?
Yes,
Hare
you're
Krishna
audible,
Prabhu.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your very beautiful class. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I had a humble desire to know the pastimes about the composition of Srila Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra, like when was it composed, and pastimes regarding that.
The interesting thing is Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra was composed by Prabhupada himself. Because Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarane. This was composed by Prabhupada himself. And at that time, there was not anyone who was competent in Sanskrit who could have offered it to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada wrote it himself so that they could chant. How compassionate is that? And there Prabhupada writes Paschatya Deshatarine. You know, it could have as well been Sarva Deshatarine, you know, or he who took over the whole world as Jagat Guru. But Prabhupada, when he was asked this, that in fact, even India you only uplifted, you know, Prabhupada said, no, India was uplifted by my Guru Maharaj. So I am not the Guru of the whole world. My Guru Maharaj uplifted the whole of India. And my contribution was only Paschatya Desha. So therefore the Pranam Mantra should have Paschatya Desha. So Prabhupada himself was the one who constructed his Pranam Mantra, so that devotees can gain Sukriti by remembering him and by offering obeisances to him.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I have a question. So during the class, you were mentioning about Prabhupada being very inspired by this verse from the second chapter, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Ekehe Kurunandana. So as practicing sadhaka devotees, what inspiration do we need to take from our side? Because especially in this kind of a situation where associating with other devotees is also so difficult, the only opportunity we have is hearing Krishna Katha through online portals. Sometimes it feels that, at least my personal feeling is that the association part with devotees is so lacking. The personal association part is so lacking. It doesn't really give, because we often hear, even in today's class, you were mentioning about the association part of a pure devotee. It's not that easy, and in this condition it's even more difficult. So what kind of a hope do we need to take as practicing devotees, Prabhuji, if you can throw some light on that.
So Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of Mother Kayadu, and he learned the whole Srimad Bhagavatam without seeing Narad Muni. So there was social distancing between Prahlad Maharaj and Narad Muni while Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of his mother. He had not seen his Guru Maharaj. He had not seen the picture of his Guru Maharaj. He did not even have the Pranam Mantra of Narad Muni. So it was almost like closing one's eyes and hearing the sound and learning. So we are living in a generation, at least we can, through webcams and laptops, we can see each other. You may be sitting in Baltimore, I may be sitting in Atlanta, Georgia, but we can at least see each other. But there, Prahlad Maharaj could not even see because he was covered in the womb. So most important is, even if you're not able to physically be with the person, to hear from great souls. Now, if there is an opportunity to physically associate, that's the best thing. But what to do? The whole world is going through a pandemic. The whole world is going through social distancing. So what option do we have? If there is a way out where we can go and physically associate, we definitely should, because there is no replacement to that interaction, human interaction, that emotions of seeing the person's face and being in their physical association and doing kirtan together, and the atmosphere in hearing Krishna Katha, not just through virtual media where we can switch off our video and do whatever we want and the speaker is not going to get to know. Or we can just open up another tab and do something else, and at the end we could just say, you know, oh, I gained so much and it was so deep and profound and whatnot, right? In physical association, you can't do that. You can't look at your phone when someone is speaking, or you can't pause it and go somewhere else. So it's the best. But what to do? We're all going through a universal pandemic where if there's something we can do, we should. But If it's not, then like the Ganga, we should learn to flow. Ganga is obstructed by so many different rocks. But instead of complaining about the rocks, she learns to continue moving across and around those rocks. So our devotion should be such that tomorrow, if people are standing outside our house, that if you chant Hare Krishna, we will shoot you. We should be able to do in such a way that intelligently, maybe we may not have beads, but in our mouth, our tongue is moving. We should be able to move according to the generation, according to the time that we live in, according to what environment Krishna puts us in. The circumstance Krishna puts us in is to change our consciousness. But we keep the same consciousness and we hope to change the circumstance without understanding that Krishna put us in that circumstance to change our consciousness. We have been in a lockdown for millions of lifetimes in this material world. But when there was no social distancing, we never realized it. But now people are getting frustrated. Imagine how frustrated the soul is to be locked down in one body after another, and the mind is not thinking of releasing it. So His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj recently was mentioning that the lockdown is helping because it is helping us to learn that we have been in a lockdown way before the lockdown, right? And when we can go out, we go in. We realize to go in. So now, since we can physically associate, we wait for the time to turn for our favor. But till then, we don't waste our time. Two examples: Prahlad Maharaj in the womb of Kayadu and Rukmini hearing from the Brahmanas. Both did not see the source, because Rukmini did not see the face of the Brahmanas who were glorifying Krishna. She would hear from the Brahmanas very shyly, because it was not a culture, it was not custom for Rukmini or any woman for that matter to have eye-to-eye contact and look into the eyes of another man. So Rukmini Devi would look down, and through the ears, Shrutva Gunan Bhuvana Sundara Shrunvatam Ye Nirvishya Karana Vivarai Haratonga Tapam Rupam Drishimatam Akilartha Labham. Rukmini says that I drank and entered and allowed Krishna to enter through my ear, not through the eyes. So she did not see the source, she heard the source. Prahlad Maharaj did not see the source, he heard the source. So even if it is recording from ISKCON Desire Tree, we should download thinking that my Guru Maharaj is speaking right now and I am in a telephonic conversation with him. I am on a phone. He has called up the cell phone. Srila Guru Maharaj has called me up on my cell phone and I'm listening. So we should hear the Hari Katha as if this was not spoken to everyone and I am tapping into the recording. But this is being spoken right now to me. This is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. To be resolute in purpose that Guru's words are for me. And because I am not taking advantage, he is walking around and telling others also. This fellow is gone case. He is not going to take advantage. I may as well walk around and try to deliver others. But we take it the other way, that it's meant for them, and I'm doing a favor by tapping and hearing. So this should be the mood, one pointed. To always think that I should make advancement. Last 2 days ago, one very famous singer of Radharaman temple, Tarun Krishnaji, who used to sing for Radharaman for decades, he left his body and he was, I think, in his early 50s, late 40s, early 50s. Now you tell me, is that a time? Is that an age to leave one's body? Of course, it was glorious because he left his body in Vrindavan. But we never know. It's possible that some of us may not be alive to see the lockdown being opened up. Some of us may just leave our bodies during the lockdown. So are we going to wait for social distancing to be lifted before death strikes? No, we move according to the time. So if online is the way we hear, that's how we move. That's Krishna's arrangement for me. If japa and kirtan can be done at home, I will do that. I will go deeper in reading. Instead of going outside and getting distracted, I will be focused. I will sit in one place and read and hear and chant. And I will pray. I will memorize newer verses. Or I will develop some other skills. I may learn how to do deity worship. I may learn how to cook for Thakurji. I may learn maybe garland making. I may learn, different skills that we can use in Krishna service. Maybe learn a bit of Mridanga, for example. During the lockdown, I want to use my time. So we move according to the time without getting frustrated, to the best that we can. Resolute in the sense, spiritual advancement. Bas. How I'm doing that, I have to use my creativity and the opportunity that Krishna's given. I think you're on mute, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful answer. I hope I can remember all your points. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for coming. I don't think there are any further questions. Deepest gratitude for taking your time and coming and giving your valuable association and patiently answering all the questions. Please do come back again and give your time, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hopefully, even though there is lockdown, hopefully we can meet you in person. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this kind invitation, and my gratitude to the servants of Sri Sri Radha Madhav Dham in ISKCON, Baltimore. So beautiful are the deities, so beautiful is the temple, and even more beautiful are the devotees. So I long to come there. Let's hope for this pandemic to end soon. But till then, virtually whatever we can offer in the service of the Vaishnavas, I will be very grateful. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Nice to see you. She's grown up.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
You have to cover all ISKCON in this lockdown, Prabhuji.
What is that?
You have to cover all ISKCON by Zoom in this lockdown, Prabhuji.
By Zoom, I have to cover all ISKCON.
Temple.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
I will try my best. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Hare
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada ki.
Jai. Jai.
All glories to Sri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. All glories to Sri Prabhupada Maharaj, Prabhuji.
हो गया खत्म छोड़ दिया